Chinese troops yesterday held the first large-scale march of the 90th anniversary of its founding with 12,000 soldiers and the most sophisticated weapons and personnel on the payroll. Xi Jinping is also the first commander of the parade at Zhuhai Gymnasium in Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. Analysts say this is part of efforts to consolidate Mr. Levin's power ahead of the 19th Communist Party convention, according to NY Times. This is her appearance in his field uniform. The image he wore in military outfits only appeared at the ceremony announcing the establishment of regional strategies last year. In the previous marches, he only wore black civilian outfits. Unlike the previous marches usually held in Beijing, the event was held in Zhuhai, Asia's largest military training center. In this vast desert area, the Chinese military has built large, realistic buildings that simulate many of the world's goals. Colonel Ren Guoqiang, a spokesman for the Chinese military, said that Zhuhai was chosen to organize a parade to show the combat readiness of the soldiers. It has nothing to do with the current situation in the region, Nahum said. Writer Chris Buckley says that this is one of the signs that Mr. Xi is demonstrating that he is relying on the military to reinforce his loyalty in the context of choosing a new generation of leaders. To announce in public. Assembly 19 takes place in the fall. Allied troops, you are not allowed to hesitate in defending the rule of absolute military leadership, he announced at a nationwide televised national parade. The parade took place only a week after China witnessed major turmoil in senior personnel, when party secretary, Sun Zengkai, who was expected to succeed Xi, dismissed and investigated. In his place was Chen Mengjish, who was promoted as Rocket after working with Zhang in Zhejiang. Such parades can be a recurring event, but this parade has a special meaning, said Deng Yuan, former deputy editor of the Study Times in Beijing. The purpose of the parade is to show that he has mastered the army and no one has any illusions about defying his power. At the forthcoming party congress, Xi will surely take on a new term and elect new members of the Central Military Commission to help him lead the military. Some experts have suggested that he is likely to remain in power after finishing his 2 terms as General Secretary, who often assumes the chairmanship of the Central Military Commission, is the president in accordance with the Constitution. Charter of the Chinese Communist Party does not limit the term of the party's secretary. The investigation into Sun Zengtai is considered to be unusual behavior of Mr. Xi, because it goes against the planning of senior leaders of the predecessor. Sun's career seemed to end when Chinese provincial leaders called for meetings to criticize him as Tiger, referring to high officials accused of corruption. By this time, we cannot be sure that Sun Zengtai was the last Tiger to be demoted before the party congress opened, said Professor Ding Zui Liang, at the University of Science and Technology of Hong Kong, commented. We do not know, other Chinese leaders do not know either. With recent moves, he seems to be seeking to ensure that his next staff is loyal young people willing to defend his policies for years to come. Many such people are likely to be elected to the Politburo, China's most powerful organization, as many members now reach retirement age. The role of the military. According to Din, although there are not many direct voices on the political scene, the Chinese military has had a great influence on his long-term power. Xi Jinping spends more time on the military than any other leader, he said. He knew that if he wanted to maintain his power, he wanted to concentrate more power, he had to make sure the army was in his hands. The Chinese Communist Party's CCP study, whose readers are primarily senior officials, last week posted the front page of its articles about the president, said he was special leadership environment. The article reiterates the hardships of Mr. Teng's birth in a family of high-ranking officials, as well as his 7 years in the countryside during the Cultural Revolution. The article has been cited by many mainstream Chinese newspapers, and the author is described as a special commentator, a term often used in critical articles.